Hey guys, it's Drew with Upstate 208, and today we're bringing you 4 things that you need to get started in snowmobiling. Let's get into it. All right, well, congratulations. You are getting ready to embark on an incredible journey. Snowmobiling is probably my most favorite recreational activity that I'm involved with. I absolutely love to snowmobile in the mountains. Exploring in snowmobiling is something that I really enjoy, and so it's something that offers us a lot to do. Today, what I wanted to do was go over 4 different things that you need to get into snowmobiling. Now, guys, this is a very basic introduction into what you're going to need to snowmobile. Snowmobiling is just like any other activity or sport. There is a plethora of accessories and options and ideas and concepts and just tons of different things you can do. So I'm trying to keep this as basic as possible for the person that has maybe been introduced to snowmobiling, has ridden one before, or knows someone, been around them, and is just kind of thinking, I think it's time, I want to buy a snowmobile and start doing this. So here is what I have come up with. Number 1, probably the biggest one, and by far the most obvious one, is you need a snowmobile. Yeah, if you're going to want to get into snowmobiling, you're going to have to buy a snowmobile. That in itself can be quite perplexing, as there are 3 major brands. We'll say 4. I'll go ahead for you Yamaha guys and throw it in there. There's 4 major brands, so don't get too hung up in that. This list that I'm coming up with is based off of someone with a pretty tight budget. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I was in this exact same boat when I first started. And it's tough because you start looking at all of these different items that you need on top of just the snowmobile, obviously, that you're really going to want to enjoy your snowmobiling experience. And so it doesn't have to be super complicated. You don't have to buy all of these things at once and make it, this extremely big financial burden. You are going to need some things and you are going to have to spend some money to do it. Let's take a look at that. Number 1, you need the snowmobile. What kind of snowmobile are you going to get? I live in the Pacific Northwest in North Idaho, and I primarily am riding in the mountains. So I wanted a mountain sled. I wanted something 800cc or bigger with a longer track that can navigate steep terrain and deep snow. So, if you're in the Midwest and you're watching this, I don't know anything about that. I know you guys have a lot of short track sleds and they work differently, and what you want is different. But regardless of where you're at and what kind of riding you're going to be doing, that's how you should be breaking this down. What kind of riding are you going to be doing? And start it from there. What kind of riding are you going to be doing, and what kind of sled do I need to accomplish that kind of riding? Get yourself the right sled. If you want to go out and rip around in the mountains in deep snow, you can't do that on a short track sled. So nevertheless, sled, you're going to need a sled. Spend some time, talk to people that know what they're talking about, get some ideas of what you're going to be looking at. My first sled, I spent $2,000 on. It was a 2003 Skidoo Rev 800 151, and I still have that sled. It was, in my opinion, the perfect sled to buy to get me started. It was $2,000. It ran. It got me out into the mountains and started showing me all of the stuff that I didn't know. And more importantly, is it got me introduced to a lot of different people that were riding, and we'll cover that kind of later in our list on things that are important when you get into it. So check it out. Not everybody has $15,000 to go drop on a brand new sweet sled. You don't need that if you're just getting started. You're not going to be able to, you know, use all of the abilities that that sled carries anyhow. So get something that fits within your budget and go ride. That. Number two, and this is a huge topic that could go on and be its own just separate YouTube channel that rolls 24 hours a day. Riding gear. There's tons and tons and tons of different options out there for snowmobile riding gear, specific companies that manufacture products specifically for snowmobiling. So think about where you're at, what you're doing. I will tell you this, if you ride in the mountains in deep snow, those places are typically fairly cold. However, it is a tremendous amount of work to get a snowmobile unstuck. And even just riding one in deep snow and varying terrain, you're bouncing around on the sled, you're moving around, you're working. And so you don't need super, heavy parka. You want something with ease of movement. And I'm not even going to start getting into what you need as far as gear goes. The basics of it are you need winter clothing appropriate for your riding area. If you're thinking about buying a snowmobile, you obviously must live somewhere that gets some weather, and so there's a good chance that you have clothes in your closet that will accommodate riding a snowmobile. You're going to need a helmet, obviously, and some goggles, and some boots. And boots, in my opinion, are important. You want your feet to be warm. You want them to be supported. I have worn Sorel boots before. They do a good job of keeping your feet warm. They just don't have very good ankle support. So as far as riding gear goes, again, it's a huge topic and there's tons of stuff. When the basics of it are, you need some clothes that are going to keep you wet, or keep you from getting wet, and keep you warm throughout the day. Goggles, all that stuff. Now, riding gear also, we get this category when we're talking about snowmobiling, we get into safety. And as you can see beside me here, I've got a Pieps avalanche airbag. I would highly recommend that if you're doing any sort of mountain riding where avalanches are a risk, that you seriously consider the investment in this. I bought this backpack 3 years ago, and I plan to continue to wear this one for many, many more years as long as I can get out of it. So it is a decent cost, but it is a extremely good investment in yourself and your safety. So avalanche airbag, highly recommend it. Is it required? I don't believe so. It's a personal safety item. So it's kind of up to the rider whether they want it. I just highly recommend it. It's an added degree of precaution, and you're going to need a backpack of some sort. So whether or not it's an avalanche bag, you have to wear a backpack to have some of these other items that I've got here and I'm going to go over with you. So backpack, you need some avalanche probes, and you need a avalanche transceiver and a shovel. Those are three things that you will hear over and over and over again from anybody who spends time in the backcountry. And the reason why is those are the three basic, most important tools that you have if you're going to be in the backcountry playing in the snow. You need a good, high-quality shovel that just lives in your backpack. It stays there, and that shovel is designated towards avalanche rescue. So you got your shovel, you've got your beacon, and you've got your probes. Those are your three items that you gotta have. Whether or not you choose to invest in the Avi Pack, that's up to you, but you gotta have these other items. Another item that will greatly increase your enjoyability and just overall success is communication. Getting a radio device of some sort so that you can communicate amongst the group that you're riding with. It is not uncommon to get stuck somewhere in a hole where no one can see you or hear you, and having the radio is just paramount in being able to communicate and get yourself out of situations or keep people from getting into something that maybe they can't see, whatever it is. So radio, highly recommend that too. not something that you have to have, but something that you're probably really going to want to consider. So riding gear, again, you guys, it goes on and on and on. It can go forever. There's tons and tons of awesome companies out there that make really great snowmobile specific gear. And once you advance in the sport and you start realizing more and more what you want and what you don't want, there's really a lot of great products out there that suit the snowmobiler quite well. So riding gear, overall, the basics of it: probe, shovel, beacon, probe, shovel, beacon, probe, shovel, beacon, and a backpack of some sort. Number 3, and this is an important one too to really get you into the sport, is you need friends, you need buddies, you need pals, you need some people in your life that like to snowmobile. And the reason being is a couple of things. If you're just getting started, you really probably don't know much about where to go, how the process works, where you get your registration tabs at, where are the warming huts, there's a lot of things that go into it that you just don't know about unless you get involved with it. So it's a good idea to make sure you've got some friends or some connections out there. Maybe you're getting ready to start snowmobiling with your family or your wife or girlfriend or whatever it is. Make sure you've got some people in your corner that are interested and involved in this sport that can help you get going in it and are willing to introduce you to the sport. I know that there are a few select people that have really helped in getting me going and showing me where to go and just kind of introducing you to the sport. It's a new thing. If you haven't done it, you don't know what you don't know. And it helps a lot to have somebody be able to help you out with that. So you're going to need some friends, and if you need to join your local snowmobile club, whatever it is, there's lots of opportunities out there to meet people that can help you get involved and help you understand and get better and just get going in the sport. So that was number 3. Number 4 is you're going to need a way to transport your snow machine. Whether that's on a trailer, in the back of a pickup, on a sled deck, whatever it is, you need to think about how you're going to deal with this thing. Snowmobiles are cumbersome and they weigh 400 or 500 pounds. And so they're not super easy to deal with when they're not on the snow. So think about that a little bit as far as your purchase goes, and where are you going to store this thing and how are you going to move it around. It's not a bad idea to get some wheel chocks or whatever and something that you can put it on to move it around in the shop or the garage or wherever it's at, because they're kind of hard to deal with. As far as transporting it to where you're going to ride at, it doesn't have to be some fancy enclosed trailer. There's reasons why a lot of guys have those, because they're super nice and they give you a place to change clothes and keep your sled out of the weather, and it goes on and on. So I have a little 2-place snowmobile trailer. That's what I've been using. It was super cheap. I paid like $800 for this thing, and it does everything that I need it to. I can store my sled here in the shop and keep it out of the weather. I do load my sled in the back of my pickup sometimes. If you're going to do that, you're going to need probably a 4-wheeler ramp is what most people use. You can buy snowmobile specific loading ramps, but they get expensive. So I bought a ATV loading ramp, aluminum tri-fold. I will note a little tidbit of caution that if you're going to do that, you need to make sure that you put glides on your aluminum ramp, because the bottoms of your skis will grab on that and it'll cause a less than desirable scene in your driveway when you're trying to load it up there. It just doesn't work. The skis grab on it, it pushes the ramp up and folds the tailgate, and it just causes a mess. So you can do that. You can buy a 4-wheeler ramp cheap. Go to a auto junkyard or a Line-X or Rhino lining company and get some old bed liner out of there. And you can use that as ski glides to put on your ramp. So I've got a ramp. I'll show you guys a shot of that so you can see what I'm talking about. But that's a great way to load it up if you already have a pickup and that gets you up and gets you going and gets you on the way. So guys, in short, snowmobiling is an awesome sport. There's a ton of really great people involved in it, people that are willing to help newcomers understand. You know, I know that for myself, I'm super supportive of someone who is giving snowmobiling a try, especially in the mountain riding form of the sport. It is difficult to do. And I will say that one thing about snowmobiling that's unique is there's really not anything else out there that prepares you or gives you this experience that will help. There's snowmobiling is it's just unique, I would say, and it's the fundamentals of it and how to ride in steep, hilly terrain, in trees, and just be able to control a 400 or 500 pound machine is difficult to grasp. And so I would say if there was going to be a number 5 on my list, it would be persistence. Don't give up. You know, snowmobiling is difficult. It's super frustrating. I still have days where I get frustrated where you're just not feeling it, or you just bobbed when you should have weaved, and you know, you end up stuck, and it happens more than once or twice, and whatever, you know, it happens. Everybody gets stuck. And persistence is key. You know, I knew when I started that it was something I really enjoyed and I really had a drive to continue to get better at, and I just stayed persistent and I just kept learning and getting better, and that continues to happen now, you guys. I'm going into my 4th or 5th season, I think, you know, as a snowmobiler in the winter, and I absolutely love it. I love the challenge of it, and it's just a great sport that really challenges you, and it allows you to really get out into nature and do some places that, you know, a lot of people don't ever get to on, you know, in the middle of the winter. And there's definitely multiple times throughout the season where you kind of have that aha moment where you're out in the middle of nowhere and there's 6 feet of snow and you just go, man, I can't believe that we're here right now. And so the reward is very much worth the headache and some of the frustration that comes along with snowmobiling. If you are, you know, dabbling in it and wanting to get into it, I strongly encourage you to proceed forward with that and to follow it. It's opened up some amazing doors for me in more ways than just riding itself. It's created friendships, and to be honest with you, it's given me a platform here on YouTube, Upstate 208, to just kind of voice my opinion, you know, and I'm not a big deal. I'm not some, you know, big dog professional rider that's sponsored and everything else, but I'm just a normal guy that likes to get out in the woods and rip his sled around, and I continue to do that, and I will continually push myself and strive to be better, get better, and ultimately have fun and enjoy life, because that's what it's all about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you out if you're thinking about getting in the game and just wondering, you know, what you got to do. There certainly is, you know, a decent monetary cost to get involved with it, but it's probably not as scary as what you think, because you really don't have to have all of the brand new flashy fancy stuff. We all want it, and if you do have it, that's awesome, and there's nothing to be ashamed of in doing that. So you guys be safe out there, have fun, shred it up, live your life, enjoy it. If you're not subscribed to this channel and you found this video useful, I would encourage you to please go ahead and subscribe to this channel and hit the little bell down below so that you know when we drop new videos. We recently just dropped a website that you can visit at www.upstate208.com. We've got tons and tons of different swag on there. We've got shirts and hats and beanies, and we're working on some graphic design stuff right now that's going to be just sick. And we're super stoked about that. So not only is it snowmobiling, it's networking, it's having fun, and ultimately I just love it. And so That's all I've got for now, guys. Drew Henley, Upstate 208. I hope that it pounds us with snow this year and that we all have an epic season. Take care, everybody.